Hello, Bunny Bay Club members. I'm EJ McDonald, your Director of Golf, and I'm here once again with Hal Akins, our Director of Golf Course Operations, and we're here to give you another Sabal update. Hal, how's the project going along?
It's going well, EJ. How are you today?
You know I'm good.
So we've made a lot of progress since the last time that we did this. Unfortunately, we're having a hard time getting our schedules in line to be able to do these videos. But anyway, we have made a lot of progress. We've sprigged fairways, like the fairways and tees and all. We sprigged 1, 2, we sodded all of 3. We got 4, and we've got 18 now all sprigged. And we've also sprigged the greens at the driving range, the practice green and the chipping green, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 18. So those are basically done. And now we're just in the grow-in phase for those holes. And now we're moving on back to the back here and going to start working our way out.
So as far as the chipping green over on the new driving range, what's a time frame for that to be available, just to be hitting chip shots and pitch shots and stuff like that? We know the putting green needs to grow in a little bit more than the short game area. Right. We sprigged it, a week ago today?
Yes.
And so you're looking about another 7, 8 weeks?
I think so. Yeah, I would say, okay. Yeah, I would say, as long as the weather holds, which it should now, yeah, 8 weeks.
Okay.
7, 8 weeks, like you said, it doesn't have to be to the level of a putting green to pitch on to.
That's right. Okay. Well, good. I know we had some members asking when that was going to be available, and we'll get that open as soon as we can. So
yeah, as soon as that grass is established and we have fairly good coverage, we'll get it open.
Okay. Yeah, so today we're going to do a flyover on some of the holes. Some of them have been grass, some have irrigation in them. Some of them are pretty rough still, but we want to just give an update on a few more of the holes. Last time when we did the video, we did 1 through 4 and hole number 18. And good news for the people watching this video is we're going to drone those again so you can see progress, but that's going to be at the end of the video when we're not blabbing all over it. So it's just going to be a quick flyover of those 5 holes so members can kind of see the progress. You can see a lot of it from the area. And we'll also highlight a little bit of the clubhouse work when we got the drone up.
Other than the greens, the first 3 holes are starting to green up and making pretty good progress.
They look really good when you go out there. It looks like, they're not, but from the eye level, it looks like the holes are almost playable already.
Yep.
So
I tell you, the last couple of weeks, things have really popped.
Yeah, it's been good. We've had a lot of sunshine, a little bit warmer weather. Schedule-wise, I think, we're always aiming for like November 1st for an opening date. Driving around and looking, I feel pretty comfortable with that, but I'm just the golf pro. How are you with that?
I have no doubts that we can make that date. No, if we can't, I probably won't be here. So
okay.
So no, I feel really good about that. There shouldn't be a problem unless there's some, unforeseen disaster.
Okay.
But yeah, that should be good. That gives us the rest of the summer. I think we're going to be done sprigging hopefully mid to late May, and then that gives us the rest of the summer to get everything grown in, and it's pretty much the same game plan as we had on Cypress, which worked out fine.
All right, great. Well, let's take the members up above these golf holes and kind of talk about what they're looking like.
Okay,
let's do it. Let's go. All right, Hal, here we are on number 5. We're going to come up over the trees, kind of tell the members what they're seeing here.
Okay, well, I think the first thing you'll notice is that we've dug the lake out a little bit further and tied the tee boxes into that lake edge a little better as well. And then as you move down the hole, you'll see that you had 4 bunkers before, I believe, and now you've got that 1 bunker that's a little larger and it's more strategically placed down there, a little further. And then as you move even further, you notice the wall starts there at the approach. And that wall is going to run all the way through the approach around 5 green, around 16 green, and then down 17, hole 17, which is going to change a little bit, then not a little bit, a lot.
Yeah, so a totally new hole over there.
Completely.
So right here when we're looking at this, for those that remember in our past videos, you see that bunker kind of, I guess, it's back right if you're playing a second shot approach in there. And then the green is also white with sand. That's the greens mix in there. So
yep,
you got to be able to
green hadn't been sprigged yet.
Yeah, so you got to differentiate between the two there. So as you look at this green complex, you can kind of see the big swale and mounding to the right like it always was. That bunker's basically located in the same place of the green that it used to be. The green did shift slightly, and then the green is almost the exact same as it was previously.
Yeah, that green, the contours and all, are basically the same.
Yeah.
So I think the false front might be a little bit longer, but the green is the same. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit bigger because, as over time, these greens shrink. So you have to recreate what was lost over the years.
Yeah, so good looking hole, great green surrounds there. Let's bounce over to number 6. All right, here we come. We're going up over number 6 here. Still a bit rough, no sod or anything like that. We do have a bunker in place. You can see the tee boxes are shaped out a little bit, rough shaped where they're gonna go.
Yeah, this hole is gonna be a little bit further back in the project because of the water, the access to water. You have to take your water with you, so you can't obviously grow in a golf course without the water. So even though it's shaped, it won't be sprigged until probably, 6 weeks or so from now. But the tees are in the same place, but spaced out better. Down the left side, you're gonna have a waste cart path, not asphalt. And we're going to create a little more space over there so we can landscape along there eventually, so that we can block off anybody on Twin Eagles side. And then on the right side here, going to have waste area as well. But the fairway is huge. It's generous. You got a couple bunkers on your right there, a couple fairway bunkers. Then you get up there closer to the green. The green is the same green, pretty much. We gridded it, tried to get it back as close as we could. Bunker is somewhat in the same location, but what they'll notice is that we've slid the green over to the right a little bit to create some space on the left side. That's the problem with working at, trying to do a video.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic, a lot of bugs. It's really dirty. It's like you need a drink of water every 30 seconds.
We had the paving crew chase us like around the whole golf hole a while ago. Anyway, we slid the green to the right here on number 6. That created some space between the cart path and the green. Now, instead of hitting the front left corner of the green or the approach and it shooting off to the left and it may be into that canal that runs down the left side, it's going to be collected there now, and so you won't be just dead in the water there. So
yeah, so green's very familiar, bunkering around the green very familiar. Just a lot better playability for the members by just shifting that green complex over to the right.
Well, and the other thing is there's a collection area behind the green, because before, if you shot it through the green, then it might just roll down the hill and then it be gone as well. So we did that on several holes, 10 being one, 12 being another. That was an issue, where the cart path was so close to the back of the green.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit of a view on how much more room they have back there and how there's a little saddle back there to kind of save a shot that's a little bit hot going in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's move on to the next hole. Okay, Hal, here we are on number 9. They're doing some bunker work, and I think they're actually doing some irrigation work out there as well, but here we come up over the top of the tee boxes again.
Yeah, I mean, again, we tried to, limit the amount of space between the tee tops and the lakes, because a lot of these tees just had a lot of dead space out there, so we needed the dirt, so we used it, and we cleaned up some of the dead space and gave ourselves less maintainable acres. But as you come down the hole, you'll see that first little bunker that was there that really served no purpose before. It stayed underwater all summer.
Yeah, and if you happen to hit kind of a squirrely shot off to the right, it was just so penalizing to be in that bunker. You couldn't even see over the lip, and you had no way to get it to the green.
It's gone. But this hole is, generally the same golf hole. It comes down. It's a dog leg left, and it rolls down as you go across the dog leg, and as you come towards the green. So the bunkering has been placed more strategically. Before, a lot of people would just blow it right over the bunkers, and now you got to think about it. I think we're going to have to come back and plug in some kind of taller trees, probably more likely palm trees, to kind of protect that inside corner. People aren't as likely to try to, cut the corner as hard. So the green is the same green. It's got that strong transition right in the middle of it. But the great thing about this green is we are able to actually add a little bit to the back right of this green, going towards the water, and we flatten it out just a hair, not much, but just a hair, enough that the ball's not going to just like take off. And so we've got a lot more pinnable area in the back right corner of this green, which I thought, that's pretty nice pin placement back there now.
Yeah, as that green had shrunk, when I would look at old pin placement sheets from tournaments, we had put it back there quite regularly, and it looks like it's a very difficult pin, but if you get the ball going up the center, it would actually kind of cruise up that
it's going to roll
big
that
slope
way,
and then go that way. So I'm trying to get in here and get a little bit.
Yeah, people love that big strong transition in the middle of the green, and so we left it, Yeah,
it's good looking green. Bunker's kind of in the same place right there. And when you say softened it, it's like a half a degree softer, just to kind of slow it down a little bit, make it more playable with the normal green speeds during the normal years. So
right.
All right, let's bounce up over here to number 10 real quick. So as we come up number 10 here, I think that the addition of the wall is probably going to be the thing that people notice first in the camera angle. But one thing that is important is we brought that cart path height to the same level as the tee height.
Yes, the tees are the same elevation as they were, but the cart path was way up above them. Now we brought it down, and now they're, and we've done, we've tried to do that everywhere we can, so people aren't having to walk up steep tee slopes or walk down, in that case, walk down a steep slope. So I really like the way 10's shaping up. I think it's going to be a really good looking golf hole. The wall, of course, is, magnificent addition. Again, this green, basically the same green. We basically went in there and we put the same green back in place, but then we added a little bit to the corners. We added a little bit to the back corner, a little bit to the left back corner, right back corner, and a little bit on the front end, just so that we could kind of shape that right edge to the wall a little bit, so the relationship between the wall and the green, was a little better.
Yeah, and as we look at this picture of the front right corner of the green, it looks like it's right on top of the water, but in reality is that while the water wasn't all the way up there, a ball that was short right was going into the water no matter what.
Oh,
that lake bank was just deteriorating and falling apart and going into the point where I think we actually had an irrigation head down in the lake. So
that's what I like about this the best, is it's just so much cleaner than it was before.
Yeah, it's a great looking hole. And then also this is another one of the holes where in the back you kind of put a little bit of a saddle or attachment, if you will, to, when balls are coming in there hot, they're not just going to roll down across the path and down into the penalty area.
Yep. We still got some things to do to separate the tees for 7 from the tees on 10, but we'll get that done somewhere along the way here.
Yeah, we'll go back in and put some stuff in there. So let's head over to number 12. All right, Hal, here we come up over 12. We're actually coming up over part of Twin Eagles. So very familiar looking hole to me when I look at this.
Well, probably out of all the holes, 12 is the most similar. I think what they'll notice is obviously we've cleaned up the tee slope a lot. It looks a whole lot cleaner. We've moved the tees out away from the oaks that are on the left side, so we'll have better turf on the walk up. We moved the cart path over as well and got the cart path up where the tee tops are. But as you come around the hole, it's pretty much the same golf hole. You got the bunker on the right. We elevated that lower plateau on the right between the main part of the fairway and the lake. And then as you go around, the green is basically the same green, same bunkering. It looks almost identical, but it's just so much cleaner. I think the other thing that people will notice here on the left side of the golf hole between 13 and 12 is that we've created a mound. We used it to bury a lot of rock and stuff like that, just kind of junky stuff. And eventually we're going to plant this mound because it goes all the way down 12 12, 13, 14, and we'll plant that eventually so that we can screen the view and not look at twin eagles anymore. So that's going to happen in the future as well.
Yeah, the left side off of that fairway was always kind of cruddy looking and not a really good look.
Yeah, I've had that mentioned to me several times, but it's like, why do you want to waste money watering something like that? Because it wasn't really in play, but it'll look a lot nicer now for sure.
Yeah, so here we are. We're back up by the 12th green, and as Hal mentioned, very similar looking green complex and bunkering and everything in there. So you got a little bit of a tier upper left and upper right and a little valley in the center. So very similar to what it was before. And Hal, I'm going to take us up. We got a lot of stuff going on 13. We're going to skip 13. I'm going to bring us over. Try not to make everybody sick while I'm moving us over to 14, but kind of tell them why we're bouncing around the holes today and why you don't do the holes in just perfect order as you go along in construction while we're getting set for 14.
That would seem logical, right? But you have to work with your water. You have to bring your water with you, as we say. Holes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 18, all there together. We already had stubbed out there at number 9 on Cypress, so that we could hook in and get the irrigation in the driving range and all those holes. So we had water there. And then in the process, we stubbed up out here at number 14 green Sabal during the Cypress construction. And now we're working from that water, and we have the main line all the way to the back right now around the big lake. So we're gonna work these holes around the big lake first, and we'll work out from there as we go down 12, 13, 14. And then the last holes in the sequence will be the 8, 15, 16, 17 grouping. So it's all about irrigation, having the water to grow the golf course in.
Here, we're going to take off and go down 14. You can see in the bottom right corner of the screen here, the 13th green that's in place. We'll come back on our next video and show that, especially from the tees. It looks really good. Those tees are elevated up, so you're going to be able to see the green surface. So this would be pretty cool.
It'd be good for them to get these bunkers reshaped before we show them the hole.
So as we go down 14, I know you were working on these tee complexes a little bit. They're tough to see from the drone, but kind of mention what we're trying to do with these tee complexes on 14.
Well, the cart path was a long way away from, for one thing. So again, we've created this berm down the left side, which was a ditch. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was kind of a crummy looking, weedy, wet ditch. It just was not very attractive. So now instead we filled it with, kind of what we call waste material like rock and things like that we really can't use too much of. And we've created this berm that we can landscape in the future to help screen off twin eagles. So what we did is we kind of pulled that lake back a little bit, brought the tees over towards the cart path a little bit, so we kind of squeezed that area some so that it wasn't so spread out. That's about it. And the cart path is, now at the level of the tees. So.
And one of the things that I think people are really going to notice is that lake expansion coming off of the right side of 13, going down that right side, which was necessary for a few reasons. And I think, obviously fill was the biggest reason, because number 12 and 14 and 15, they were always sopping wet. I mean, even in the driest part of the wintertime, it was still really wet on those golf holes just from the elevation and the poor drainage that was in there.
Yeah. Well, that was obviously a big part of what we're trying to accomplish here, is to make the golf course drain better. And it's not all about elevation, EJ. A lot of it is back in the days when they were building these golf courses, they didn't like to have catch basins in the fairways. They wanted to be nice and clean, and they tried to sheet flow all the water off to the side, and you only had catch basins in the rough. But those are such long distances, and those areas are so flat that water just did not move quick enough to get off of the fairways. So it just kind of sat there, because I think 12 is a prime example of that. There's nothing wrong with the elevation of that golf hole. It's just that it was sheet flowing off and it was too flat. And so we put a lot of catch basins in, and that's where most of the drainage dollars are spent in these projects, is putting in these catch basins. And I'll add to that, there's no way you can dry up every single area. You just can't foresee that, you know? But we have the infrastructure now that we can add to it whenever we want.
Okay, so up here by the green, and we had a lot of conversations about this green with the architect, and this green itself is basically the same green, maybe softened, you know, again, a half a degree, going from that center to the left, and that's actually shifted to the right, isn't it, Hal?
Yes, we moved that one to the right for the same reason that we moved number 6 to the right. You know, it was just a little close to the cart path, and so now we've given ourselves some more space to catch balls on that left side.
Yeah, and one thing when we look at this this green complex, as I scroll over here to the right, you know, you saw that big expanse of water there, but that's not really in play up around the green complex.
Well, no, not really. It's pretty good distance from the green, but I think that, you know, that looks really good. I mean, it's you know, that's probably the starkest change, I guess you would say, down the right side of 14, you know, expansion of that lake connecting the two. So it looks really good. It really opened up this whole corner back here.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Okay, Hal, as we talked about in the intro, we said here after we got done with this part of the video, we're going to go ahead and do a drone flyover of 1 through 4 and 18. And one thing I did want to, you know, talk about briefly is the fact that how we sprig those fairways with the machine, and then we come in and then we hand sprig them from what we've harvested here on site. Can you tell the members about that a little bit and why that's so important?
Well, it speeds up the grow-in process, and the faster the grow-in process, the quicker you get everything established and stabilized. When it's dirt like this, your biggest worry is to get a really heavy rainstorm and you get washouts, and then you have to repair those, and it kind of ruins the features. And so if we can get it established quicker, we can preserve those features better. When you take them on the little tour at the end here, they're gonna see the guys out there hand sprigging those fairways. So on number 4 in particular.
Yeah, so that's one of the things when you'll see it when they first put it in with the machine, it still looks like it's dirt even though there's stuff underneath, and we come back and go up on top, and that's what makes it fill out a little bit faster. So that's a great thing. I think we learned that on Bay Island a little bit, then a lot on Marsh, and then of course on Cypress. So
yeah, we on Bay Island, you know, it was getting kind of close at the end, so I wanted to kind of hedge my bet, and I started hand sprigging the last fairways, and that worked so well that, shoot, I did all of them on Marsh, and we did all of them on Cypress, so it's just become standard operating procedure now.
Yeah, and what's really cool about it is that you guys go in and you harvest the sprigs right here on site from what has already grown in kind of in the rough areas. So that's what's really neat about it is as you lay down the sod and the perimeters, you're actually creating a little bit of a turf farm for yourself.
Yeah, and as we go along, we have more and more sod that we can harvest from as we, you know, add holes to the finished product. So yeah, it works out really well, and you know, it's well worth the effort, I think, you know.
All right, well, as we mentioned, stay on. We're gonna show you those 5 golf holes. Hal, once again, thanks for another great day out here at Bonita Bay Club Naples, and thank you to our members for watching this video. And if you have any questions anytime, feel free to contact Hal or himself.
Yeah, that was quite a bit of stuff to take in here. We've got a lot more than we had before, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's going well. Thanks, EJ.
All right.
Y'all take care.